All right, let's jump into our New Year's sRockinEve deep dive. I'm sure you're all getting ready for the countdown, but we thought, we'd have a little fun and dig into some trivia about the show.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of recent articles and interviews, including some with Ryan Seacrest and Rita Ora.
Oh, cool.
So let's see what we can uncover.
Yeah, it's interesting because we always focus on the performances and the spectacle of it all.
Right.
But we don't really think about the people behind it.
Totally.
So yeah, these interviews are pretty cool for that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to put that together, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, first up, Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, yeah.
He's been hosting this show for 20 years.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
That's a long time.
That's 2 decades worth of countdowns and confetti and probably lots and lots of coffee.
Yeah, and just think how much has changed in the world of TV and entertainment.
Totally.
Streaming and social media.
Absolutely.
It's crazy he's managed to stay on top of all that.
He's a pro.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that he said his favorite memory is his first year hosting solo after Dick Clark, passed the torch to him.
Yeah, I bet there was a lot of pressure taking over for Dick Clark.
Oh, tons of pressure.
Those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of cool that year is meaningful to him.
Totally.
In that way.
Yeah, but, live TV doesn't always go smoothly, right?
Oh, definitely not.
Seacrest actually told a story about accidentally giving his coat away to someone in the crowd.
Oh, no.
And his headphones were still attached.
What?
Could you imagine?
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I know, the scramble to get those back.
I know, but that's what makes live TV so fun.
It's true.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Okay, now, Rita Ora, she's back for her second year co-hosting.
Oh, nice.
And she said she actually prefers live TV to pre-tape shows. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's not the norm.
Oh.
I think most people would want more control, over their performance and how they're seen. Right.
But she's all about that adrenaline rush, I guess.
Maybe. Yeah, she seems like she's pretty comfortable with improv and just going with the flow.
Yeah, and she's definitely a pro.
She is.
But even she said she's a little nervous about performing this year.
Oh, well, yeah, Times Square is a big stage.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the lineup is packed this year.
Oh, I bet.
We've got Carrie Underwood, Megan Maroney, Sophie Ellis-Bextor,
Cool.
TLC,
Awesome.
and even the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, wow. The Jonas Brothers. Wait, that's their 20th anniversary this year.
It is.
So they're going to be doing a special performance?
Yes. Oh, that's so cool.
I know. It's you've got this show that's a staple of New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Jonas Brothers who are celebrating 2 decades.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
They're both hitting these huge milestones on a night that's all about reflection and new beginnings.
It is.
That's got to be a cool feeling for them.
Yeah, all of that, time and experience and stuff.
Yeah.
Happening on the biggest stage.
I know, that's awesome. Well, speaking of exciting career moves, Rita Ora actually has a big role coming up.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
She's going to be in the new Voltron movie.
Wow. Voltron, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and she's starring alongside Henry Cavill and Sterling K. Brown.
That's a huge cast.
I know.
It's really cool to see her branching out into film and stuff.
Yeah, it seems like she's doing really well for herself.
Yeah.
From pop star to Times Square co-host to starring in a blockbuster.
Pretty amazing.
I know. And you know what? She hasn't ruled out hosting New Year's sRockinEve for many years to come.
Oh, wow. Like a Ryan Seacrest situation.
Yeah. She seems to really like it.
That's awesome.
I know. Okay, well, speaking of Seacrest, have you heard about his new gig?
No, what's that?
Wheel of Fortune.
No way.
I know. The guy is busy.
He is, but that just shows how versatile he is as a host.
Yeah.
He's done everything from singing competitions to radio to red carpets.
Oh, yeah.
And now a classic game show.
It's true.
It's not easy to appeal to all those different audiences.
Right. And now he gets to work with Vanna White.
I wonder what their dynamic will be like.
I know. I'm curious to see it, but okay. Back to Seacrest and Ora on New Year's sRockinEve.
Okay.
What do you think about their partnership?
It's interesting because they have such different energy.
Totally.
You've got Seacrest, the veteran. He's so professional.
Oh, yeah.
He knows the show inside and out.
Yeah.
And then there's Ora, who's this burst of energy and spontaneity.
Yeah, it's a good balance.
Yeah, they complement each other well.
I think that's why the show has lasted so long.
What do you mean?
Well, it's more than just a countdown. right?
Yeah.
It reflects the times. It's a mix of tradition and new stuff.
Totally. It's kind of like putting on your favorite comfy sweater.
Yeah.
It's familiar, but it always feels a little new each time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling more in the know about this year's show.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to get these behind-the-scenes glimpses.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're like getting a backstage pass.
Yeah. It makes the show even more fun to watch.
I agree.
But we shouldn't give away all the secrets just yet.
That's true. We'll be right back to dig into even more Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve facts after a quick break.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to our New Year's Rockin' Eve deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about Seacrest and Aura and how their different personalities make the show so interesting.
Yeah, it's like they kind of represent the show itself.
Totally. A blend of old and new,
Exactly. And speaking of tradition, this show is such a big part of how we celebrate New Year's Eve.
It really is. It's more than just entertainment at this point.
Yeah.
It's a tradition, a way we mark time as a country.
I've always wondered, though, did Dick Clark just come up with the whole idea of a televised New Year's Eve celebration?
Well, not exactly. I mean, people have been gathering to celebrate New Year's for centuries.
Yeah, that's true.
But Clark definitely changed how we experience it.
Right, he brought the party into our living rooms. Exactly. He connected people all over the country.
Through TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, he took something that was already there and modernized it for everyone.
And he had a good sense of what people wanted to see.
Totally. Big musical acts, lots of excitement, and of course, the countdown.
The countdown, can't forget that.
That's the best part.
But it's not just a US thing anymore, is it?
Oh, you're right. They've got segments from all over the world now.
It's gone global.
Tapping into that feeling we all have.
What do you mean?
Well, no matter where you are in the world, the new year means something.
Yeah, that's true.
New Year's Rockin' Eve has captured that and shared it with everyone.
It's also impressive how the show has kept up with technology.
Yeah, it could have easily become outdated.
Totally.
Did they use streaming, social media?
It really adapted.
Yeah, they get that people watch things differently now.
And they've made the show accessible in so many ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Live TV, streaming, social media clips.
Like a multi-layered experience.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to try new things.
Remember when they used that augmented reality thing a few years back?
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
It made the show even more visually interesting.
Definitely. They're always pushing the boundaries.
Which makes me wonder, what's next for New Year's Rockin' Eve?
That's a good question.
We were talking about the metaverse earlier.
Right.
Could we be celebrating in a virtual Times Square someday?
It's definitely possible. The lines between physical and digital are blurring more and more.
Yeah, true.
Imagine attending virtually with people from all over the world.
Wow, that would be crazy.
Like a global New Year's Eve party.
I love it.
And it could actually be more inclusive than the real thing.
How so?
Well, some people can't travel or have disabilities that make it tough to be in big crowds.
Right, I didn't think of that.
A virtual New Year's Rockin' Eve could let them join the fun.
That's a great point. It would open the celebration up to everyone. But even with all the new technology, I think there's something special about watching the ball drop on TV with family and friends.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That shared experience is really meaningful.
And that countdown, the anticipation just builds and builds.
And then boom, Happy New Year.
It's a moment that connects us all.
I think it reminds us that even though we're all different,
Yeah.
we share some basic human experiences.
What kinds of experiences?
Well, wanting to celebrate, to be with others, to mark the passing of time.
You're right.
New Year's Rockin' Eve lets us do all of those things.
You've summed it up perfectly.
I'm really glad we decided to do this deep dive.
Me too.
It's given me a new appreciation for the show.
Me too.
But before we get too sentimental,
Yeah.
what are your predictions for the future of the show?
Oh, that's tough.
What do you think the next 20 years will bring?
I think it's safe to say it'll keep changing and adapting.
Okay, yeah.
We might see even more technology, more personalized experiences,
Interesting.
maybe even a shift toward a more global celebration.
That would be amazing.
Who knows, but I'm sure it'll be exciting.
I can't wait to see what they do next. Well, I think it's about time to wrap up this deep dive.
Right.
Any final thoughts?
I think our deep dive has shown how Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve has stayed popular for so long.
Yeah.
It's a show that changes with the times, but still holds on to tradition.
Right.
And at its heart, it's about celebrating our shared humanity.
Our desire to connect, to celebrate, to look forward to the future.
Exactly.
Well said. And on that note, I want to thank you for joining me on this New Year's Eve adventure. And we're back for our final segment of this New Year's Rockin' Eve deep dive.
Ooh.
It's been so fun, like going behind the scenes of this show.
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
I know, we could probably talk about it for hours.
Oh, yeah, there's always more to learn.
I know.
Yeah.
But before we run out of time, I wanted to go back to Ryan Seacrest for a second.
Okay.
So we talked about his 20-year run as the host.
Yeah, it's impressive.
But now that he's doing Wheel of Fortune too, some people are wondering if he's going to start stepping back from New Year's Rockin' Eve.
That's interesting.
What do you think? Could this be the beginning of a transition for him?
I mean, it's definitely possible. Ryan Seacrest is like the king of reinvention.
Right. He's always doing something new.
Exactly. And going to Wheel of Fortune just shows he can handle any kind of show.
And appeal to, like, all sorts of audiences?
It wouldn't be surprising if he wanted to try new things while he's still at the top of his game.
True. And let's be honest, 20 years is a long time to host one show.
Yeah, especially one as intense as New Year's Rockin' Eve.
He's already a legend.
Yeah.
Maybe he is ready for a new challenge.
And if that happens, it'll be really interesting to see what the show does without him.
Oh, totally. Like, he's become such a big part of it.
Right. It's hard to imagine New Year's Rockin' Eve without Ryan Seacrest.
I know, but sometimes change is good.
Yeah, maybe it would give them a chance to like reinvent the show.
Ooh, good point.
Maybe they would try even more new technology or formats.
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about with the metaverse.
Right.
Maybe Seacrest leaving would make them even more open to those kinds of ideas.
Exactly. It could lead to something completely new and exciting.
And who knows, maybe Seacrest would even make a surprise appearance in the metaverse someday.
Beaming in from the virtual Wheel of Fortune set.
That would be amazing. Okay, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
For now, we can still enjoy the show with Seacrest as our host.
Yeah, he'll be there to guide us into the new year.
Before we wrap up, though, I wanted to touch on something you mentioned earlier about the show reflecting our shared humanity.
Oh, yeah, I think that's really important.
It really resonated with me.
It's true, though, isn't it? No matter where we're from or what our background is, we all want to celebrate new beginnings.
Yeah, it's a universal thing.
And New Year's Rockin' Eve really captures that feeling.
It's like we're all connected by this feeling of hope and excitement for the future. And for a few hours, we all get to experience that together, whether we're watching with family or friends, or even by ourselves.
It's a special moment.
Really is.
Wow.
Well, as we end our deep dive, I hope our listeners feel a renewed appreciation for tradition, for trying new things, and for sharing these moments together.
Me too.
It's been awesome chatting with you about this.
Yeah, this was fun.
And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this journey behind the scenes of Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.